Korean dramas have captivated global audiences with their compelling storytelling, emotional depth, and yes, their wonderfully predictable tropes. These recurring narrative elements have become the backbone of K drama storytelling, creating a shared language between creators and viewers that transcends cultural boundaries. While some might dismiss these patterns as cliched, they serve as powerful storytelling tools that tap into universal human experiences and emotions. Love triangles. When the main female character finds herself caught between two male characters who both have romantic feelings for her, creating one of the most emotionally engaging aspects of Korean drama storytelling. Usually, one boy is brooding, difficult, and emotionally unavailable, but exciting, while the other boy is consistently kind, supportive, and caring. This creates genuine conflict because both options have good qualities, but viewers often prefer the nice second male lead who treats the heroine better. However, the girl almost always chooses the main male lead, which frustrates fans and creates the famous second lead syndrome, where audiences fall harder for the supporting character who's destined to lose. Rich Boy, Poor Girl. A classic Cinderella style narrative where a very wealthy male character, often a K-ball heir or business empire successor, falls in love with a female character from a much lower socioeconomic background. His wealthy family typically disapproves of the relationship because they view her as a gold digger or someone who will damage their social reputation and business prospects. The couple must prove their love is genuine and not motivated by money or social climbing. This trope taps into universal fantasies of being rescued from financial struggles and elevated to a life of luxury and security. Memory loss, amnesia. One of the main characters suffers head trauma, illness, or psychological shock that causes them to forget everything about their past, including their romantic relationship, family connections, and personal identity. Then they have to fall in love all over again with the same person, which is supposed to prove that their connection is so strong it transcends memory itself. This happens in almost every K drama because it creates instant dramatic tension and allows writers to reset relationship dynamics. The trope has become so common that some recent dramas reference it meta-textually, acknowledging its overuse while still employing it effectively. Fake dating. Two characters enter into a pretend romantic relationship to achieve specific goals like stopping family members from arranging blind dates, dispelling dating rumors, managing public scandals, or fooling business associates. They usually create a contract with specific terms about public displays of affection, duration of the arrangement, and boundaries about physical contact. Initially, both parties maintain emotional distance and treat the relationship as purely transactional, but proximity and shared experiences gradually break down their defenses. The resolution usually involves both characters admitting their feelings have become genuine and choosing to continue the relationship authentically. Childhood friends. The main characters met when they were children, often during a significant or traumatic event, but forgot about each other over time. When they meet again as adults, they don't initially remember their childhood connection, but they feel an inexplicable sense of familiarity, comfort, or attraction. The revelation of their shared past typically occurs at crucial dramatic moments through flashbacks, old photographs, recovered memories, or items they exchanged as children. This trope reinforces the concept that true love is predetermined and that meaningful relationships have roots in shared formative experiences. Noble sacrifice. One character makes a unilateral decision to break up with their romantic partner or distance themselves because they believe it will protect their loved one from future harm, financial burden, social complications, or family disapproval. They don't consult their partner about this decision or consider what the other person actually wants. This noble character typically believes they're being selfless by removing themselves from their partner's life, but this decision-making process excludes the other person's agency and feelings. Modern dramas increasingly critique this trope by showing how such unilateral decisions damage trust and emphasizing that real love involves facing problems together. Piggyback rides. When the female character gets tired, injured, drunk, or emotionally overwhelmed, the male character carries her on his back in what has become a practically mandatory romantic gesture in every K-drama. This is intimate physical cock demonstrates the male character's protective instincts and physical strength while creating opportunities for intimate conversation. The positioning allows for whispered confessions, comfortable silences, or playful banter, while the female character rests against the male's back. The gesture represents trust, care, and willingness to literally carry the other person's burdens, both physical and emotional. Back hugs. Intimate embraces from behind that serve as moments of emotional connection, comfort, and vulnerability, often occurring during scenes when one character needs reassurance, support, or simply wants to feel close to their partner. These hugs have become a signature romantic gesture in Korean drama vocabulary, representing a different kind of intimacy than face to face embraces. The gesture allows the person being hugged to feel enveloped and protected, while the hugger can offer comfort without demanding eye contact or verbal response. Back hugs frequently happen during moments of reconciliation after arguments, when one character wants to offer support without overwhelming the other. Wrist grabbing. The controversial practice of male characters grabbing female characters by the wrist to drag them around, prevent them from leaving during arguments, or force them to listen to explanations. While intended by writers to show passionate concern or protective instincts, the wrist grab actually represents concerning power dynamics and treats women as objects to be controlled. The gesture often leaves visible marks on the female character's wrist, which she later touches while thinking about the encounter. Some modern dramas have begun subverting this trope by having female characters explicitly object to being grabbed or showing the negative consequences of such controlling behavior. Sharing umbrellas. Romantic tension created through forced proximity during unexpected rain, where two characters must share one umbrella, creating an intimate space that allows for meaningful conversations and the gradual development of romantic feelings. The shared space under the umbrella forces them to walk closely together, often with arms touching or one person's arm around the other's shoulders to keep both people dry. The rain provides a natural excuse for extended physical closeness that might otherwise seem inappropriate or forward in their relationship stage. The symbolism suggests that the characters can weather life's storms together, providing mutual shelter and support through difficult times. Almost falling. The obligatory dramatic scene where the female character almost falls down stairs, slips on wet surfaces, nearly gets hit by an approaching vehicle, or is about to fall from a height, and the male character swoops in at the last second to catch her. This moment of physical contact and shared danger often serves as the catalyst for both characters to realize their attraction to each other. The positioning usually results in the female character being held in the male character's arms in a romantic pose, often with her hands on his chest and their faces close together. These scenes create opportunities for stammered thanks, awkward apologies for the unexpected physical contact, and meaningful stares that suggest deeper feelings. Bicycle scenes. Characters learning to ride bicycles together or sharing one bicycle while riding, creating opportunities for physical closeness, playful interaction, trust building, and symbolic representation of partnership between romantic leads. These scenes often involve one character teaching the other to ride, with hands-on instruction that requires physical contact, patience, and encouragement. When sharing a bicycle, characters must coordinate their movements, trust each other's balance and steering ability, and work together to reach their destination. The bicycle itself becomes a symbol of freedom, youth, shared adventure, and the journey they're taking together in their relationship. Seatbelt moments. When a couple is riding in a car together, often for the first time, one character, usually the female, forgets to put on their seatbelt, and the male character leans over her body to fasten it for her. This creates an unexpectedly intimate moment of physical proximity, followed by a meaningful staring contest as they realize how close their faces are. The female character often freezes during the process, becoming hyper-aware of his closeness, cologne, gentle touch, and focused attention on her safety. The moment usually ends with both characters staring at each other in close proximity, breathing heavily, and feeling the electric tension. Forced to live together. The main characters find themselves obligated to share living space despite initially disliking each other or wanting to maintain distance, due to circumstances completely beyond their control. These situations might include one character owing money and needing cheap housing, house fires or natural disasters leaving someone homeless, mistaken rental agreements, or job assignments requiring cohabitation. The forced proximity serves multiple narrative functions. It accelerates relationship development by creating constant interaction opportunities and breaks down social barriers that might otherwise keep characters apart. Living together reveals personal habits, us daily routines, domestic skills, and true personalities that characters might hide in public settings. Secret rich person. A wealthy character, often a cabal heir or business owner, deliberately conceals their true identity and financial status to work as a regular employee in their own company or another organization. This allows them to experience life from a completely different perspective and often leads to romantic connections with ordinary employees who treat them as equals rather than superiors. The wealthy character typically struggles with basic job requirements, learns the value of hard work through direct experience, and develops respect for employees they might have previously overlooked. The romantic interest usually treats them kindly despite their apparent shortcomings, creating a foundation for genuine affection based on perceived character rather than material advantages. Mean parents. Wealthy parents, particularly mothers and fathers from chaebol families, actively oppose their children's romantic relationships due to class differences, social status concerns, or other factors that they believe threaten the family's reputation. The disapproval typically manifests through emotional manipulation, financial threats, arranged alternative relationships with suitable partners, or ultimatums that force their children to choose between love and family loyalty. These parents often use their wealth and power to investigate the romantic partner's background, offer money for breakups, or create obstacles to the relationship. The conflict creates significant dramatic tension as characters must decide whether to fight for their relationship against family pressure or comply with parental wishes. Evil mother in law, future or current mothers in law who view their sons' romantic interests as direct threats to their own influence, control, and position within the family hierarchy, leading them to actively work against the relationships. These characters often present themselves as loving, concerned mothers in public while revealing their true manipulative nature in private confrontations with the female leads. Their interference can include spreading malicious rumors, creating deliberate misunderstandings between the couple, offering substantial money for breakups, or arranging alternative romantic prospects they consider more suitable. The evil mother in law typically uses her knowledge of her son's weaknesses, fears, and desires to manipulate him while simultaneously attacking the girlfriend's confidence and sense of belonging. Long lost family. Characters discover they're actually part of wealthy families, possess hidden noble backgrounds, or have inheritance rights they never knew existed, often revealed through dramatic revelations involving DNA tests, deathbed confessions, or discovered documents. This trope connects to broader Cinderella narratives and themes of hidden identity, suggesting that some people are destined for greatness, regardless of their humble beginnings. Newly discovered wealth or status often comes with significant responsibilities the character isn't prepared for. Family members who oppose the inheritance or conflicts with their established identity. The character must decide whether to embrace their new status and the opportunities it provides, or reject it in favor of their chosen life and relationships. Violent fathers. Father figures who express their authority and disapproval through physical violence, sometimes even attacking their grown sons with objects like golf clubs, belts, or other implements when they disagree with their children's life choices. This behavior reflects toxic masculinity, authoritarian family structures, and traditional patriarchal values within Korean society, where fathers historically expected absolute obedience from their children. The violence is often triggered by business decisions that don't align with the father's plans, romantic relationships with people the father considers unsuitable, or career choices that deviate from family expectations. These scenes typically show the father's explosive anger and physical aggression, followed by the son's acceptance of the punishment without fighting back. Mean mothers. Mothers who use verbal abuse, emotional manipulation, and psychological threats to control their children's behavior and life choices, often hurling insults, expressing disappointment in cruel ways, and making dramatic statements like, "Let's go die together," when they don't get their way. This trope explores dysfunctional family dynamics, generational trauma, and the ways that emotional abuse can be disguised as parental concern or cultural tradition. These mothers often use guilt, shame, threats of self-harm, and emotional blackmail to influence their children's decisions about careers, relationships, education, and major life choices. The emotional abuse creates lasting psychological effects on the children, who often struggle with self worth, decision making confidence, and difficulty forming healthy relationships. Mean boys who get nice. Male characters who initially display aloof, prickly, arrogant, and hot headed behavior, but gradually soften and become affectionate, caring partners after being transformed by love, typically possessing tragic backstories that explain their defensive behavior. These characters often show contradictory behavior patterns, being cruel or dismissive in public, while showing subtle care and protection in private moments. Their harsh exterior serves as psychological armor against emotional vulnerability, usually developed as a coping mechanism in response to past hurt, abandonment, or disappointment. The transformation process involves the female lead gradually breaking down their defenses through consistent persistence, unconditional kindness, and genuine care. Rich people are mean, poor people are nice. A simplistic moral framework where wealthy characters tend to display selfish, arrogant, entitled behavior, while poor characters are consistently portrayed as kind hearted, morally pure, and inherently good. Rich characters typically use money to solve problems, manipulate situations, and control other people, viewing relationships as transactions and people as objects to be acquired. Poor characters, conversely, are shown as hardworking, grateful for small kindnesses, and possessing strong moral compasses developed through adversity and struggle. This trope reflects social commentary about wealth inequality and moral corruption, but it oversimplifies complex social issues by suggesting that money inherently corrupts while poverty inherently purifies. The better second choice. When second male leads are written to be consistently kinder, more emotionally available, supportive, and caring than the main male leads, causing audiences to develop stronger feelings for the supporting character who is tragically destined to lose. These characters typically demonstrate unconditional love, provide comfort and support during difficult times, respect the female lead's autonomy and decisions, and treat her with consistent kindness. They often serve as confidants, reliable friends, and emotional support systems, while the main lead creates unnecessary drama through misunderstandings, stubbornness, or emotional unavailability. This phenomenon has become so common and frustrating for viewers that some modern dramas now deliberately write second leads to be less appealing or give them their own romantic storylines. Candy girls and alpha boys, a classic dynamic featuring plucky, optimistic female characters who maintain their cheerful disposition and find joy in simple pleasures despite facing significant hardships, paired with powerful, wealthy, emotionally damaged male characters who use harsh behavior to protect themselves from vulnerability. The female Candy character typically comes from humble backgrounds but possesses inner strength, resilience, and an unshakable faith in goodness and love. The alpha hero is usually wealthy, powerful, and successful in business, but emotionally stunted due to past trauma, family pressure, or betrayal. The dynamic involves the Candy character gradually breaking down the alpha's emotional defenses through consistent kindness, refusing to be intimidated by his harsh treatment, and showing him a different way of living and loving. Getting sick. When everything in the romantic relationship is progressing smoothly and happily, one of the main characters suddenly develops a serious life threatening illness, such as cancer, leukemia, or a rare disease that creates immediate dramatic tension. The diagnosis typically comes at the height of romantic happiness, serving as a test of the relationship's strength and the character's commitment to each other through adversity. The sick character often tries to push their partner away to spare them the pain of watching them suffer and die, while the healthy partner insists on staying and fighting the illness together. The illness serves as a catalyst for emotional growth, honest communication about fears and dreams, and deeper appreciation for time together. Cooking for each other. Male leads preparing meals for female leads who sometimes can't cook well, or female leads cooking for male leads, representing care, domestic intimacy, nurturing instincts, and the desire to provide for loved ones through the fundamental act of nourishment. These scenes often mark important relationship milestones, showing characters' willingness to invest time, effort, and thought in each other's well being and happiness. The cooking process frequently involves teaching, learning, and working together in kitchen spaces, creating opportunities for physical closeness, playful interaction, and domestic partnership. The act of feeding someone is portrayed as deeply intimate and caring, with characters paying careful attention to each other's preferences, dietary restrictions, and favorite flavors. Bullying. Kind and naive main characters, particularly female leads, face systematic bullying and harassment from peers, classmates, or colleagues who take advantage of their submissive personalities, gentle nature, and reluctance to fight back. This creates immediate sympathy for the protagonist while establishing clear antagonists and highlighting themes of social hierarchy, power dynamics, and the challenges of maintaining kindness in hostile environments. The bullying often involves deliberate exclusion from social groups, spreading malicious rumors, sabotaging work or academic performance, and public humiliation designed to break the character's spirit. The female lead usually endures the mistreatment silently, believing that fighting back would make her like her tormentors or that the situation will improve if she remains patient and kind. Office drama. Workplace dynamics that emphasize respect for age, position, and seniority, with characters navigating complex social hierarchies where promotions, assignments, office politics, and workplace conflicts drive significant portions of drama plots and character development. These environments often reflect authentic Korean corporate culture, with its emphasis on group harmony, respect for authority, and the challenges of balancing personal relationships with professional obligations. Characters must learn to navigate office politics, manage relationships with superiors and subordinates, handle conflicts between personal values and corporate expectations, and deal with workplace romance complications. The corporate setting provides opportunities for character growth through professional challenges, ethical dilemmas, leadership development, and the need to prove competence and worth in competitive environments. Shower scenes. Gratuitous, shirtless scenes of male characters, typically occurring in the first episode, designed to showcase the actor's physical fitness and appeal to viewers, rather than advancing the plot or developing characters. These scenes often involve elaborate shower routines, workout sessions, or casual undressing that seems completely unnecessary for the story, but provides fan service. The camera work emphasizes the male character's muscular physique, often using slow motion, dramatic lighting, multiple angles, and close up shots to maximize the visual impact. The shower scenes often establish the male character's desirability and physical appeal as primary characteristics, suggesting that physical appearance is a crucial factor in romantic attraction. Loan sharks. The frequent appearance of illegal moneylenders who charge excessive interest rates and use violent collection methods reflects economic pressures, debt culture, financial desperation, and systemic economic problems in Korean society. Loan sharks typically target vulnerable characters who have exhausted legitimate borrowing options, offering quick money solutions with devastating interest rates and violent consequences for non payment. Their presence in dramas highlights issues of economic inequality, family financial pressure, medical debt, business failures, and the lengths people will go to solve immediate financial problems. The loan shark storylines often involve threats to family members at business destruction or forced labor to repay debts, representing the dark side of capitalism and the vulnerability of people without economic security. Episode 12, Breakup. The predictable temporary separation that occurs around episode 12 of most romantic dramas, creating artificial tension before the final reunion and resolution in later episodes. This has become so common it's practically scheduled, with viewers expecting relationship crisis at this specific point in the series. The breakup often results from misunderstandings, external pressure, or one character making unilateral decisions about the relationship's future. The separation serves to test the strength of the romantic connection and provide opportunities for both characters to realize how much they need each other. Elevator escapes. Doors closing just in time before a chaser can reach the elevator, providing convenient escapes during dramatic moments and creating suspense while allowing characters to evade confrontation or danger. These scenes often involve perfect timing, where the elevator arrives exactly when needed and closes before pursuers can board. The enclosed elevator space then provides a private setting for characters to catch their breath, have important conversations, or experience romantic tension. Sometimes elevator malfunctions trap characters together, forcing them to confront issues they've been avoiding. Baseball cap disguises. Characters become unrecognizable or invisible simply by wearing baseball caps, whether being chased by enemies, avoiding recognition, or planning to commit crimes. This simple disguise is surprisingly effective in the K-drama universe, allowing characters to move freely without being identified by people who know them well. The baseball cap, often combined with sunglasses or face masks, creates complete anonymity despite minimal actual concealment. This trope reflects dramatic convention rather than realistic disguise effectiveness, prioritizing visual simplicity over believable concealment methods. Ghost visits. When deceased characters appear as ghosts to interact with living characters, it typically indicates they're actually in a coma rather than truly dead, providing hope for character resurrection and dramatic plot twists. These ghost appearances often involve unfinished business, important messages, or emotional closure that needs to be achieved before the character can either recover or truly pass away. The ghost interactions usually feel real to other characters, creating ambiguity about whether the experiences are supernatural, psychological, or medical. The revelation that the character is actually alive often comes through medical updates or dramatic hospital scenes where they wake up at crucial moments.